On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino for OU football, we talk about this Power Four agreement document, and we talk a little recruiting. Then in football, guys talking basketball. Thunder are up 2-1, but that was a blowout in game three. Then in football, guys talking softball. They've done it again. The ninth straight Women's College World Series for the Sooners. And then we finish up with our winners and losers of the weekend. Please download and subscribe to the podcast. Rate it 5 stars and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Sunday, May 25th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards, and happy Memorial Day weekend, Ted.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day weekend to you. Having a good time so far. Nice weather today. Should be good.
We've got some good things to talk about and some bad things to talk about.
Yes, we
But
do.
as always on Memorial Day weekend, thank you to everyone that has sacrificed for this country. It does not go unnoticed by so many, and we appreciate you and your families. And our thoughts are with all those people who it's one of those holiday weekends for a lot of people, it's amazing. But for some, you got to imagine it's pretty rough, Ted. So
Yeah,
thinking of all those people out there.
no doubt. And I do have to say today is going to be badass to see the Apache helicopters lead the pace lap at the Indy 500. How cool is that going to be?
Awesome. I want to go to an Indy 500. Never been on the bucket list.
It's like this year they've got a huge crowd. I think it's supposed to be one of the biggest crowds they've had in a long time. So good stuff.
All right, let's get to the OU football stuff. And we're going to start with this Power Four document that is circulating. I really don't know how else to describe it, but Ross Dellinger, who is always all over this type of stuff for Yahoo Sports, he has reported that officials from the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, and ACC are working on a document that is, quote, intended to prevent universities from using their state laws to violate new enforcement rules, and in a wholly stunning concept, requires schools to waive their rights to pursue legal challenges against the new enforcement entity, the College Sports Commission. What could go wrong with this? What could go wrong with asking schools to violate their state laws, Ted? Nothing could go wrong with this. This will be fine.
Yeah, and it's we always kind of go back to the same problem. Everything is so disjointed that during the Wild West we had a bunch of state legislators enact laws to where their school wouldn't be left behind and they could be able to go out and be competitive in NIL. And as you're trying to get everything under one umbrella and have everyone playing by the same rules, you've got a jigsaw puzzle of legislation out there that, I mean, you have to get everyone to agree to some of the same terms, but it's going to be difficult, whenever teams feel like they have these laws in place that help them be competitive or give them a leg up. Even it's going to be hard to get people to turn that down. I mean, I'm curious to see what the willingness is for everyone to sign on.
Oh, all these schools, I'm sure, will agree. Uh, that that's the thing, and the reason we're talking about this is I think it's important to talk through, like, okay, what's best for OU football?
Mm-hmm.
Is everyone agreeing to follow whatever comes of the House settlement, like the structure laid out in that? Like, is that the best thing for OU football? it kind of feels like it would be, but I don't know, man. Like, what do you think? Because from what I understand, this new system, this new agreement they're trying to get in place, you have to agree to the rules that come from the House settlement. And I think the biggest part of it is that NIL clearinghouse led by Deloitte piece, where all those deals have to be evaluated and approved. And remember, they went back and said, what, 70% of the collective deals that have been done would have been denied with this new system.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
Me
Honestly.
too. But I guess the biggest piece of this new development is it kind of feels like they're threatening the schools that don't agree to it by basically saying, hey, if you don't sign it, you are risking losing conference membership. And the other teams in the power leagues that do sign it aren't going to play you. So I don't know how that's legal.
Well, I guess it's just if I mean, I understand that your states have these laws, but in order to be a part of all of this, you have to not play by those rules. You have to play by these rules. And I mean, I'm with you. I think it's better for Oklahoma. I mean, because ultimately you want to put it on the players and the coaches and what happens on the field, right? And if you have everyone playing under the same rule system, you would think that that's kind of where hopefully things end up a little bit more than they are now. But it's, it's just interesting that I think everyone's going to be like slow play it until they see what everyone else does, like I don't know that anyone wants to be the first one to sign on just to make sure that they don't want to sign their rights away before everyone else turns their nose up and says, no, we're going to operate how we want to. I don't know. It's interesting, but I mean, I think, at least in my opinion, it's kind of the only way you can go about things is to get everyone to agree to play under the same exact set of rules.
I think the school that a lot of people are discussing right now is Tennessee because of the law that they passed just a couple weeks ago, right? That basically says their schools, the schools in the state of Tennessee, don't have to follow whatever the rules end up being. And I believe the law also says the NCAA or whatever governing body can't punish them for not following the rules, which is quite the state law to write. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is going to agree to let you play by your own set of rules while everyone else plays by a different set. So, I think it's a great, it's a nice, get out of jail free card later should you need it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you've already got this legislation on the books to where you can operate however you want. And if you feel like the system isn't doing what it's supposed to, well, you've got this little backdrop that you can rely on. But I mean, there's no way the schools of the SEC will allow Tennessee to operate, however they want without punishment and not have to abide by the rules that everyone else does. It will not happen.
I was reading about the law, and maybe the best part is written into that Tennessee law. It says that piece of legislation prevents an athletic association from adopting and enforcing rules that violate the state law and affect a school's membership status. It's as if they knew exactly what was about to happen and put a law in place to counter every piece of it, which kind of credit to them, I guess. But
getting ahead of the curve.
The leadership in Tennessee clearly knew what was coming. But they put this law in place because the current system, the Wild Wild West system that we've been operating under the last several seasons, it's really benefited Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to be the only school that once the current system, or at least something that resembles it pretty closely, to stay in place, because Tennessee has gone from being, I think it's fair to say, irrelevant to very much in the conversation.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It has definitely helped them. I'm just, what's interesting about this is the House settlement is a, it's a lawsuit where the member schools of the NCAA have I don't know how many $1 billion payout that they have to go back and pay players. And it's really the judge looking at the system and saying, this is not good. This is punishment for how it has gone down. And before it even goes into effect, there's a school saying, no, no, we do not agree to follow this settlement. I mean, it kind of throws a wrench into the system and kind of proves the whole settlement all along all over again, doesn't it?
Remember, this is all supposed to take place, like go into effect July 1st.
Right.
It's May 25th, dude. It's a little over a month away, and the settlement hasn't even been approved yet.
And what's crazy is I was talking to someone about this yesterday. Back in April, towards the end of April, I was hearing that expect like this thing to be finalized and ready to go, and we're going to hear something here in the next couple of days that everything is buttoned up and ready to be implemented, and that never really happened. And this thing is dragging out to the 11th hour.
I believe the revenue sharing era of college athletics is starting July 1st, no matter what. Like, there's been too much work has been done by all these schools to go back. So it's happening whether or not the House settlement's approved, or at least that's kind of how I understand it. But is there anything that shows the dysfunction at the highest levels of college football than the fact that we don't even know what the sport is going to be on July 1st? Like, we don't, everyone thought this was going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. And everyone's just kind of sitting here going, I don't know. It's just a great reminder that this sport as a whole needs someone in charge, because
Yeah.
this is just ridiculous, man.
Well, what do you think like Sankey and the SEC's reaction is to the Tennessee deal?
I can't imagine he's thrilled. But once again, Tennessee has really benefited from the current system. They become very much in the conversation when it comes to the college football playoff, the SEC, like, and I think it has a lot to do with how they've been operating behind the scenes. They've got one of the most organized collectives in the country. They've done a really nice job of using the current rules to their advantage. Now, they had the Nico disaster and all that. That happened, but I get them wanting to keep something very similar in place. Like, I totally understand that, but they're not going to risk their conference membership trying to play by their own rules. Like, I have to imagine Greg Sankey can go to Tennessee's leadership, and behind closed doors, they'll get things worked out.
I would think. I mean, just forget the rest of college football. I have a hard time believing the rest of the SEC is going to allow Tennessee to operate on a whole different set of rules than what they are. And I imagine what they've got the spring meetings coming up, this next week down in Florida. I imagine we'll hear, there should be a lot of different news coming out of that, like the conference schedule, how many conference games, some of the playoff stuff. And I imagine there's got to be some type of statement or notes about what the conference is going to do with the House settlement and is everyone on board and all of that. But I don't know.
Will I think it's fascinating that this sport It's one of the most popular sports in this country, and we still really don't know what the rules are. It's
It's a day-to-day thing.
it's crazy, man.
I know. It's day-to-day. It's day-to-day what the entire structure of the sport's going to look like. And frankly, it's day-to-day what the playoff is going to look like.
We'll
I
get to
mean,
that in winners and losers.
and there's something new with the playoff. Like we're just going to wing it every year and try something new.
We love it though, man. There's nothing better. College
I mean,
football is the best.
we may have 4 years in a row with a different playoff. We're going to go from the 14 playoff, the 12-team playoff as it currently sits, the 12-team playoff with a new structure perhaps, and then if they expand the 16-team playoff all in 4 years.
That's normal. It's a normal sport.
Right.
Let's talk a little recruiting. Class of 2026 defensive lineman Brian Harris committed to Oklahoma. And you may, as an OU fan, you may see his recruiting ranking, whether it's the 24/7 sports composite or the On3 industry ranking, and go, hey, is the Sooners landing Brian Harris really that big of a deal? Is it that big of a recruiting win? And Ted, here's how I see it. Harris chose OU over Bama, Michigan, Penn State, South Carolina, and a whole other, a lot more people. If you're beating those types of schools for line of scrimmage players, I consider it a big win.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I haven't seen a lot of the kid, just seen some of the measurables, but whenever you look at the offer list and see his top five and know that he's a defensive lineman, like those are the schools that you want to be competing with and beating in a race for a defensive lineman coming out of high school. So I agree with you 100%. And I think, one of the big things with Nagy and kind of the new approach is traits, and they really like guys where they see the potential for a large amount of growth. Like what you see now may not be what they think they're going to get in 2 or 3 years.
He looks long. My guess is he's like 6'3", 280, currently 285. Looks like he's got long arms. I went and watched everything I could find, like all his highlight stuff. And he's like every other high school defensive lineman. He needs a lot of technique work.
Yeah.
That is not surprising at all, but you're right, Ted. It's about the traits. Long, athletic guy who he looks like he still has a lot to add to his frame. Now, he was named the defensive line MVP of the Under Armour Next Camp in Orlando, which, hey, I don't know if that's really that big of a deal, but it's better to be the MVP than to not be the MVP. That's how I've always viewed it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're showing out at those types of things, I know they're not wearing pads, but hey, it's better to be the MVP than not.
And they're typically, it could be very hard in high school to see players against, kind of like bodied players, like legit offensive line, or how they compare to some other legit, power forward defensive linemen. You can see them all there together at one deal. So I imagine there was quite a bit of talent there. And, I kind of like the size. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Like, if you have extra long arms and you're still 6'3", and it's kind of the best of both worlds, right? To where you can have a lower center of gravity and pad level, but still have the length that you need, instead of maybe having the same arm length and being 6'5".
If I was a defensive line coach, I would recruit 6'2" and 6'3" guys with super long arms.
Yeah.
That's what I would try to find. Like guys that, they have enough height, but if you can get a 6'3" guy that's got a 6'7" wingspan, like that type of guy, or like a 6'7" reach, That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys that, because there's a certain point where like pad level becomes an issue, you know?
Yeah.
And that's certainly one of Harris's issue. He's a guy that plays high and he jumps around blocks, and he's like, a bunch of his highlights are him swimming offensive linemen. We all know that's not going to work in college football, but he does display some nice twitch, like some nice suddenness on those clips, which you like seeing. And you go, okay, a guy's got some suddenness to him. He's got size. He's got long arms. Then you start seeing, we're going to keep saying it, traits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also not a bad thing that OU went into the state of Florida and got a guy that a bunch of people wanted. That doesn't hurt anything, Ted.
Yeah. And he seemed pretty convinced, pretty quickly. And, the recruiting windows have kind of changed, and usually June and July is the hot time for commitments. And, I think he had an Alabama trip scheduled and a bunch of other stuff. And he said, no, I'm going to Oklahoma. So that seems pretty rock solid. And they were convincing. Whatever the pitch was, seems like it was pretty convincing for him.
These are the types of guys that OU has to develop at a high level.
Yeah.
Like this 3-star guy that has a really good frame, that needs technique work. Like these are the type of guys that OU needs to develop into starters and like draft picks.
Draft picks. That's right. Yeah.
That has not happened consistently enough. And I think that I'm hoping that Jim Nagy and this staff that they've built out, like their scouting expertise, like they see something in God, like a guy like Brian Harris,
mm-hmm.
where, hey, this guy has NFL traits. We gotta help him get there.
Especially right now. If you have a great season, you go win 10 or 11 games, you make the playoff and make it to a semifinal or a national championship, things may change and you may be in on some of the more like the 5-star elite of the elite talent that everyone wants. But until then, the main way to make up ground on everyone is the evaluation piece and finding the diamonds in the rough, where it's a 3-star kid that you can turn into a multi-year starter draft pick. I mean, those are the home runs.
The Sooners currently have 7 commitments in the class of 2026. Don't get too worried, OU fans. Like they're ranked, I think it's like the 38th ranked recruiting class right now. But these last several years, OU has put a ton into the month of June for recruiting.
And it sounds like they have some really good prospects on some really high level players as well. Like they are in on a bunch of good players as well. We'll see if June turns out the way they hope.
Let's get to call your shot. We asked you guys the most important thing that happened this weekend for OU football. This first one comes from Jeremy LaForce, who says Bo Bentley moving his visit day up. Hopefully he makes his decision soon. The 2026 quarterback situation is very interesting.
It is. It is very interesting. And I mean, just kind of with the way that it's gone, it would lead me to believe that Bo Bentley is option 1A for him. And like it would be a big deal if, I guess, Oklahoma and LSU, right? And if they were able to, if moving that recruitment date up or that visit date up is a good sign for Oklahoma and they can capitalize on that. You know how it goes. Like often if you can get a top quarterback recruit to sign on, that becomes kind of a mouthpiece for that recruiting class. It can help get some guys in and maybe be a deciding factor for some other players. So that would be huge.
Then you have the Jaden O'Neal piece of it, which it is, this is just not typically what you see once a big time quarterback commitment happens. But hey, I don't really care, man. Bring them all. You can never have too many quarterbacks. Bring them all. If they want to compete against each other, I love it. If both of them aren't scared, to compete. I love that. May the best man win. May the best man be the quarterback of the 2026 class. I don't care. But it is one of the it's one of the strangest recruiting situations we've seen for OU in a while with what's happening with this quarterback situation. But I don't care. Bring them both. Let's have options.
It is. I don't know how often it happens. I'm sure maybe it's not that rare, but I can't remember a time that it's happened here where you have a quarterback that's committed and before you hire on a new offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. So, I mean, whenever you think of it through that lens, it's not all that strange that maybe, some of the new hires may have a different view of what's best at quarterback, but we should put them through like a quarterback challenge, just a duel through a bunch of different drills. May the best man win. Elimination style.
Does anyone say no? I'm fine with it.
Just turn into like a Netflix series, Survivor quarterback style at the University of Oklahoma.
Last time we had a quarterback on anything that was on Netflix,
not good.
Reviews weren't great.
Maybe
just
right.
saying. Just maybe saying. Right. Hey, but both of these guys seem like great kids. So I don't know, but it's a little strange, but it'll work out. I trust Ben Arbuckle in his evaluation of quarterbacks. Let the man do his job.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
All right, let's get to. It's a very weird feeling now with the Thunder being up 2-1. We've got some things to talk about in football, guys talking basketball. But first, hitting the highway, remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway, and with the Love's app, you can also save big. How big? 10 or 15 cents big. Save 10 cents per gallon on gas and 15 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app today and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to fire up your cookouts than with Didier Ranch's steak burgers made from 100% premium cuts of steak. These burgers are the real deal. Juicy, flavorful, and packed with that rich, beefy taste that you love. Plus, they're shipped right to your door, so you can spend more time doing what you love and less time shopping. Head over to DidierRanch.com now and use code SOONER for a special discount on your first order. Get ready to taste the best burgers you've ever had. Proudly raised 100% in Oklahoma. Didier Ranch, steak in every bite.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, an Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Vacation season is almost here, and the new Simple Modern Getaway Bag is the perfect companion for every summer adventure. Whether packing for a beach trip, a weekend getaway, or a long road trip, the Getaway Bag's durable rubber sides makes it easy to carry everything you need and just as easy to rinse clean after a day of sand, sun, and fun. It's built to handle it all and go everywhere you want to go this summer. Plus, with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, you're helping Oklahomans everywhere. Simple Modern, it's good everywhere. All right, FGTB and the Thunder are up 2-1 in the Western Conference Finals. But things feel a little different than they did after game 2, Ted. Sometimes you get crowned, you get comfortable, and then the other team punches you right in the face. Sports.
The only way I can explain it is it felt exactly like the South Carolina football game, to where by the time I got my beverage and got situated and plopped down ready to watch the game, it was already over.
I have never poured that strong of a tequila soda in the first quarter. I mean, dude, you're right. It was over quick, man. And I clearly didn't see that coming. And I'm just going to be honest, man. I didn't know this Thunder team could get beat like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost by 42.
and it was a brutal start, and it never got better. I mean, they just I kept saying to everyone, it's listen, just they're going to make a run here. Wait until the third quarter. They're going to come out red hot in the third quarter. They're going to close the gap, and we're going to have a basketball game. Wrong, wrong. Did not happen.
Did not happen. And you got to give the Timberwolves credit.
Red hot.
First of all, Anthony Edwards, he was excellent early
Yeah, he was.
and set the tone for his entire team. It kind of just set the tone for the entire game. Like, hey, we are here to whoop you tonight. And it's so rare for this Thunder team to look that uncomfortable. Like, and they almost look surprised by the T-Wolves' level of intensity and their sense of urgency. That's what it looks like when a basketball team is playing on their heels.
Yep.
Like where the Timberwolves, and they pointed out on the broadcast several times, like where the Timberwolves were picking Shea up defensively, like the ball pressure, it was way ramped up, and the Thunder did not handle it well. Like they struggled to just pass the ball early in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. I mean, you know that at times with as many threes as Minnesota is going to throw up there, if they get hot, I mean, they were 50% shot 43s. I mean, that's very difficult to contend with.
There's no doubt, but does that math lead to you getting beat by 40?
That's a good point. I mean,
No.
There was plenty of problems there. I mean, I think that your point about how smothering a defense they played led to great confidence on the other end of the floor for them. And, they had a good crowd that was behind him. They were booing Shea every time he got the ball, chanting whenever he got to the free throw line. It was a hostile environment, as it should be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, credit to Minnesota's crowd. I was a little confused initially that they were booing Shea every time he had the ball. But then the Thunder scored 14 points in the first quarter, and I was like, hey, whatever they're doing's working. They're going to keep booing the guy, and they did.
Yeah.
So this is when you know it's bad. This is a historically good defensive team that we've got. They popped the graphic up. The T-Wolves scored 70 in the first half. Franchise playoff record. Most points in a half. And then they reset the record in the second half.
Yeah.
Not good, man. It's not good when a team breaks a franchise record against you and then breaks it again in the second half.
I mean, by quarter, 34, 38, 35, 36 for Minnesota. They hit a peak in the first quarter and stayed pretty much right there at that same production level. And the Thunder only got to 30 points in the fourth, kind of in mop-up time. So I don't know. Does it change your feeling about the series?
Not if they go and win game 4. And that's my thing is once again, I did not think the Thunder could get beat like this because of the defense that they play. Like they haven't shot the ball particularly well in the playoffs as a whole, but they've been able to rely on that defense, and that defense just got cooked over and over and over again. So did the Timberwolves find something, or was it, hey, that group wasn't ready to go the way that they need to be ready to go?
Well,
I mean, it's hard to believe because game 2, like there are a bunch of distractions. Shea's getting the MVP before the game, and they handled it all well.
Yeah.
Guys making all defense, they handled it all well and came out and played at a high level. But
I think home court does matter a lot. The Thunder have a great home court, and Minnesota had a great home court. I think it's apparent the ankle is feeling better for Anthony Edwards. He was great. He was getting to the rim. The mid-range stuff was on fire. and Julius Randle continues to be superb for them. I I don't know. I guess these game threes in a 7-game series, if you get where you're behind by a massive margin, it does feel like, because the goal is to go and win one of the two, right? And I think it's just kind of a human nature or natural whenever you fall behind by 40 that you kind of say, well, we're going to put it all into game four. So I guess that's at least my hope is, all right, this one got away from us. We'll hit the cruise here. And then when game four comes, we're going to absolutely sell out to try and get the win.
It Any hope that I had disappeared in the second quarter when Terrence Shannon started cooking us. That's when I knew. I was like, all right, it's their night. Now, I didn't expect us to get beat by 40, but hey, I wonder how Dagnall and this staff handle it. That's something I am interested in. Is it one of those where you don't even watch the tape? Or maybe you watch the first quarter and that's it? And you kind of look at it and go, guys, we were not ready to go. We didn't even come close to matching their intensity. I don't know. Or you just like, hey, that game didn't happen, on to game four. We're not even talking about it.
Yeah. I guess the only thing is they better have an answer for some of the stuff they were doing defensively and try and figure out a way to create some better looks, get Shea going, get anyone going, I guess, and maybe just try and find an answer to what it was that they saw. But yeah, you're right. Maybe that's just a coaching staff thing, not the players. Like, we don't even want to remind you guys of what took place.
I Jalen Williams he's a hard player to figure out, man.
Yeah.
It's up and down for whatever reason in the playoffs. He was pretty consistently good in the regular season. That's why he's all NBA, right? But I would love to see him find just a higher level of consistency game in and game out in the playoffs, because this was not a good J-Dub game. It just wasn't. But it wasn't really a good game for anyone.
No.
I I mean, Jalen Williams played 25 minutes. Shea played 28. I mean, they gave up. Not, I say gave up. Like, the game was over, and Mark Daigneault realized that, and those guys didn't play at all late. So I don't know. I just didn't think this team could lose like that, man. I don't know. My brain is confused. I don't know what to make of it. You mentioned the shot variance piece. Like, that's obviously a big factor, but it's kind of hard to forget what just happened.
No, it is. Um, I the other thing though is there really hasn't been a whole lot of drama in this series yet. I I imagine, at least I hope, that game four is going to come with some drama, and we're going to have a highly competitive, down to the last couple of possessions game. Because I mean, other than that, it's kind of been forgettable, hadn't it?
The margins have been 26, 15, and 42. I guess they're beating us in the aggregate if this was soccer, right? Isn't that how it
Yeah,
works?
I think so.
Yeah, it is. I assume game four is going to be one of those games that comes down to the last couple of minutes in the fourth.
I
If
hope.
there's, once again, I was very surprised that the Thunder play the way that they played. But if you can say anything about this team, man, you can say they usually bounce back from a loss in a pretty significant way. That's been pretty consistent throughout the season. So we'll see. But yeah, that was I was already mentally in the NBA finals. That's on me. It kind of looked like the players were thinking the same way I was thinking. Everyone was telling us, hey, this may go 5, but I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's already over. And the way that the Timberwolves played in game 3 makes you take a step back and go, wait a second here.
They're capable of being incredibly dangerous. So we saw it. I mean, that's why they're here. That's why they're in the Western Conference Finals. I I mean, there is no guarantee, obviously, but I guess I guess it doesn't change my feeling on the series a whole heck of a lot. I picked the Thunder in 7, I think, but I did not think that we would not go up to Minnesota and get one of these first two. So I still feel like that's the case. If not, we're going to have a series on our hands.
Could get very interesting.
Yep.
But I I think I speak for all Thunder fans when I say I can't wait to see how the squad bounces back in game 4.
Get it together, boys.
That that was ugly. I poured. Let's just not even talk about my alcohol consumption during that game. Not good for my health. It's a holiday weekend. It's fine.
That's right.
It's fine. All right, let's talk about something that'll make us happier, Ted. Let's talk about softball.
Let's do it.
But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days. And head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and ice cold beer. It's the perfect spot to watch any big game. And with all the garage locations being open at 10 p.m. or later every night, it's the go-to late night spot. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you and order online from the garage in your neighborhood. Insurica has launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
they did it again. I don't know how Patty Gasso does it. It just seems like every single time she gets her team to be at their best when, like, in the most important parts of the season.
Yep.
And make no mistake, like, this is a team that there are some softball people out there that didn't think this was a Women's College World Series team.
Right.
Because of the youth, because all the new pieces, questions about the pitching, and they're headed to their 9th straight Women's College World Series after taking care of Bama in 2 games, Ted. This is not normal. It continues to not be normal, man. It's unbelievable.
It's normal, but not normal. I mean, we're used to OU softball winning on this scale, but it's a totally different team with a bunch of young players, and it's been a work in progress throughout the season. And they continue to get stronger and stronger, and the confidence is building. And all you got to do is look around throughout some of the other super regionals that are going on. Texas got taken to the brink. They lost game 1 to Clemson, and then they won game 2 in like 11 innings, something like that. Florida State got beat out. I mean, there's been some teams go down in these supers that you maybe didn't expect, and Oklahoma like firing on all cylinders as they head to the World Series. It's just incredibly impressive. I mean, even having watched perhaps the best 4-year run of softball ever played in the sport with some of the greatest players to ever lace them up to be able to bounce back and perform the way they are right now. It's should they go on and win it, and it's five straight. The rest of the softball world may not see it the way that we do, and how incredibly impressive it's been for Patty Gasso and that coaching staff and these players, honestly, to pull together a bunch of new players and establish leadership and just figure things out as they go. And right now, I mean, I don't they're playing the best softball in the country right now.
I don't think
Who else you
anyone's
gonna
going to
take?
argue against that.
Right? So it's it's unreal.
It was a lot of fun to watch. And remember, this was a team that this Bama team, they got him in the regular season. Beat him 2 out of 3. And this thing was just never in doubt. Like you look at game 1, I didn't even think Sam Landry like had her best stuff, but it felt like every single time Bama was threatening, she just shut the door in their face. And I was really really impressed. And typically, hey, when you're at your best, when the pressure is on, you typically call that clutch. And I'm starting to think that Sam Landry's got the clutch gene, man. Because
Yeah.
anytime it felt like they had a runner in scoring position, she just she just got outs, man.
Yep. Incredibly impressive. And, to bounce back after that and Kirsten Deal to go out and perform the way that she did, was just that's exactly what they were looking for. You have to have an ace, but it always feels like to make it through the World Series, your number two and sometimes even your number three have to have big critical moments. And you can go back and look at some of those years, and another pitcher got hot at the right time to help things out tremendously. And I think that was a big step for Kirsten Dill. That was awesome.
I thought what she did in that second inning of game 2, where, hey, looks like you're in a bit of a jam, and then back to back strikeouts, and you're like, okay. I mean, she stepped up when she had to be at her best as well. So this team is just so incredibly impressive. And you think about some of the big time hits in the super regional, like Cassidy Pickering has been awesome as that leadoff hitter. The homer in game 1, that 2-1 home run after Dayton got walked, like that was, I mean, that was the difference in the game. Here I am, Captain Obvious. But Gabby Garcia continues to just destroy the softball.
Yep. They're cruising right now. I mean, a lot of the young players are, seeing the ball, hitting the ball really well. I mean, we talked to JT Gasso about it, and he was talking about some of those younger players, and it feels like they're all to some degree totally different players than what we saw in the very beginning of the season. And I think it takes time to find yourself a little bit and settle in and get comfortable. And like they are walking to the plate hungry right now. You can tell they're not feeling things out. They are aggressive, and it shows, man. They're hitting the ball really well right now. It's fun to watch.
The Let me know if this is strange. That third inning in game 2, we got to come up with whatever the OU softball equivalent is to the Thunder's flash flood.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know what you want to call it, but oh my gosh, that was impressive. But maybe I'm a weirdo. In that entire sequence, during the entire third inning onslaught, I think my favorite play was the Agbayani sacrifice bunt. Dude, I don't know what it says about me. I love a sacrifice bunt. I love a little small ball, man. I
Yeah.
just loved that play.
Yeah. Whenever you can pull it off and you lay a bunt down beautifully like that, it's fun to watch. It's poetry in motion, Gabe.
It's a selfless act on the diamond.
It's great to play small ball, move runners, bunt, and then also blast the ball into the stratosphere all in the same inning. It's just it's everything all wrapped up into one. It's fun.
Do you want Nebraska or Tennessee?
Well,
That game, first pitch is, we're recording this. The first pitch is in like an hour and a half.
it's been awesome. I Storyline wise, I would love to see Jordy Ball, but I mean, I don't know. She is legit. So storyline, I think that's probably the best, but it's incredibly dangerous what a pitcher like that can do. And I know Tennessee has great pitching as well, but like it's one of the I don't know that there's a right answer. It's kind of careful what you wish for with both of those teams.
I I think I want Nebraska just because, come on, man. How fun would that be?
It would be awesome. Hey, sign me up for that. I love Jordy Ball. I think she's amazing. So that would be great because if we were able to beat her, I I'm still just continuing to say that she's going to transfer to Oklahoma next season. I don't know why, but I'm just going to continue to say it. She's
Just
coming
speak it
back.
into existence, Ted.
She's coming back.
9 straight Women's College World Series appearances for Oklahoma softball. They're 18th overall. The level of consistency, the level of consistent excellence is just crazy, man. I mean, credit to Coach Gasso and these women. This program, I believe this program has single-handedly grown the game of softball. And it's just really cool, man, that it's our alma mater. Like it is an absolute joy to watch this program do its thing.
And like to me, it comes full circle whenever the game's coming on and you see that stadium. I don't know, 5,000 people, whatever, just packed in there. Beautiful stadium. I mean, it looks like the sport has taken a totally different turn. It wasn't very long ago. Like that scene is like absurd to even think of, right? And now it's what we get day in, day out with them. It's incredible.
Just like just pencil it in on the calendar every year. It's great. It's crazy.
Right. 50 wins, ninth consecutive 50-win season as well. That's how you rack up the victories pretty quick if you're Patty Gasso, right?
Unbelievable. Congratulations, ladies. We'll see you in Oklahoma City. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the weekend. But first, if you're as passionate about OU sports as we are, now's your chance to make a difference with One Oklahoma. As the official NIL partner of the University of Oklahoma, One Oklahoma plays a crucial role in keeping the Sooners competitive in the SEC. Your subscription goes beyond the revenue sharing cap, directly helping recruit and support the athletes who become Sooner legends. Plus, you'll get access to exclusive events, behind the scenes content, merch, giveaways, and more. Join the team and be the difference maker for your Sooners. Join today at oneoklahoma.com. And 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
I got to go with Notre Dame. We've had the whole USC situation going on with that rivalry and what's going to happen there. Well, in the meantime, no big deal. They just scheduled a game with Wisconsin that they're playing at Lambeau Field in 2026, which, I love the non-con games. I usually hate the neutral site thing because you're playing in like some an NFL dome or
Jerry World, Atlanta,
yeah, it's just a sterile environment that doesn't feel
Vegas.
like college football at all. But I have a feeling Lambeau with Wisconsin and Notre Dame fans outside in that historic venue is going to feel every bit of college football.
What I know a lot of dudes. I've played with several guys that went to Wisconsin. Those people, those are a drinking people.
Oh my goodness.
It's very impressive. I I think Lambeau Field may be the only place that is going to be well enough equipped for those fan bases. Like they know what's coming, and I think they'll be prepared.
Have you ever seen like the heat map of average alcoholic beverages consumed per day? And it's like Wisconsin is in a totally different world than the
The
entire United
the
States.
brightest red you've ever seen on a heat
Yes.
map.
Oh my gosh. And
That's an awesome, but like when it comes to, and you and I feel the same about the neutral site games. Like this is the most acceptable neutral site game that could be played.
it's like it's like whenever baseball does the Field of Dreams deal, it's kind of the same thing with Lambeau. It's like this is it. This is the place you go to do it.
I have to assume that'll be first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah,
You don't want to be playing that Lambeau game in November. You know what I mean?
different.
You want to get that one out of the way early.
Get that one out of the way early. Yes. I imagine it's going to be early in the year and um I don't know. I think it's awesome and it just kind of it also shines the light back on the USC thing a little bit more, right? Like it's like Notre Dame's out making moves right now.
They're
Get on
certainly
board.
not scared.
Yeah.
I respect it. I really respect it. But there's really not, when you think about Wisconsin going and playing Notre Dame at Lambeau, there's really no equivalent of that for OU.
No.
Jerry World, yeah, I don't think it would feel the same.
I
You
and
know what I'm
even
saying?
yeah, and even Arrowhead, I know we played some Big 12 championships there. I mean, if you played Nebraska at Arrowhead, maybe, but there's no tie there. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of it's
There's
different.
there's quite a few OU people in Kansas City, but there's not, and there's quite a few OU fans that are Chiefs fans. But it's not like Dallas, like where
No,
there's a massive amount of OU fans. I don't think there's an equivalent for OU like Lambeau for Wisconsin.
no. Well, I mean, but Lambeau's that way for Wisconsin, but it's also that way for it's kind of that way for everyone at all in all levels of football too, isn't it? I mean,
OU Wisconsin at Lambeau, sign me up.
that's what I'm saying is it really works with any combination of
Yeah,
team.
that's an interesting point. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't have some special significance to OU in particular. It just has a special significance to football.
Yeah. That's what, like whenever I went to the NFL and I saw the schedule, it was like, oh my God, Lambeau, dude, that's going to be crazy. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be cold. And it was
Get
horribly
that
cold.
that chicken broth ready, buddy.
Oh my God. Whew, crazy. I mean, it's so cool. And I don't know. I like it. It's better than playing it in some other country somewhere or in an NFL dome that just doesn't feel anything like college football. So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. All right, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Well, I thought about going with the NFC North because Aiden Hutchinson is back. Now, I don't know. He's cleared and he's in OTAs right now. Saw some videos of him recently that did not look great, but he's cleared and he's in OTAs. So I imagine by the time the season rolls around, he's going to be back. And adding him to that Lions defense, because he had 7.5 sacks through the first 5 games and missed the final 12 and was still like one of the leading sackers in the NFL. So he is fun to watch. He's an impressive young man, and that's going to be big. But I had to go with the Knicks. What the hell happened? Down 0-2, the overtime game slips away from them. They choke down the stretch of game one and then get blown out in game two. Is it over?
Game three's tonight. We're about to find out. Pascal Siakam gave them that work in game two.
Jeez.
And they got, I think it's fair to say, they got an all-time stinker from Karl Anthony Towns in that one.
Right.
Which he's been known to play a bad game here or there, but I think he was, I don't know, his defense is just, he was a minus 20.
Woo.
I mean, he shot it decently well, but like they are just attacking him relentlessly on the defensive end of the floor, as they should.
Yep. That's tough, man. And I don't know. It kind of feels like you lose the first two at home. You were an underdog, at least in my mind, in this series anyways, and you're going to have something special happen. And dropping the first two games at home, not a good way to go win the series. But Brunson's going to have to turn into Superman, I guess. Even though he already kind of has been.
He's taken a little heat off Shea for the foul baiting stuff. He's had some tough looks so far these first two games. But yeah, I mean, I love watching the Pacers.
Yep.
They play fast. It's a really entertaining brand of basketball. And this is something that is really annoying me. People are starting to talk about like a Pacers Thunder final and like what the ratings would be and all that stuff. Who cares, man? It'll be incredibly entertaining basketball if you actually care about what's happening on the court and not ratings and big markets like that stuff. Like that would be an incredible NBA finals. Arguably the best offense in basketball versus the best defense in basketball. Like that would be sweet. What is wrong with people? I don't get it.
Let me tell you how little I care about the NBA finals ratings. Don't care at all. I almost think it would be hilarious. If it unfolded that way and everyone's talking bad about it, because I'm with you. I think it'd be great. You get to see top level players, Shea and Tyrese Halliburton going at it. I mean, I think it would be awesome. Let's just get there first for the Thunder. It looks like the Pacers I don't know if they're necessarily going to cruise, but I mean, when they came from behind and took that game one in overtime, it's like they snatched the Knicks' soul.
As I told you, I will be in New York City for game 3 and game 4 of the NBA Finals. I have started researching Thunder watch parties in New York City because it seems like those games are going to be played in Indianapolis.
Your dreams are fading.
My dream of going to an NBA Finals game at Madison Square Garden and watching the Thunder beat the Knicks on that floor are. And heck, after what happened in game 3 to us, I don't know where my dreams are at all. Okay, bud?
Maybe you'll be there watching a Timberwolves Knicks.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. But yeah, I started following an Instagram account called Thunder Up NYC.
Okay.
Seems like they've got they'll have some things planned. So
awesome.
If there are any Thunder fans in New York City, I may be screaming at the television right next to you, consuming a lot of beverages at whatever establishment we're watching the game.
That'll be good.
We'll make the best of it.
Yeah.
As long as the Thunder are in it, we'll make the best of it, okay?
Yeah.
Lost by 42, Ted.
That only be a footnote in the March 2 championship, Gabe.
There's been NBA champions throughout the years take one on the chin like this. Lose games by 35, 40, and then still go and, be lifting the trophy at the end of the thing. So
We're
I
good.
expect a big bounce back from the Thunder. Big bounce back. It's coming. It's coming.
We're good. We're good.
For my winner of the week end. Yes, that's correct. The 2025 college football playoff.
Yeah.
Common sense has prevailed, Ted. Straight seeding. Top 4 teams in the country get a bye. Not the top 4 ranked conference champions. The 9 seed doesn't get a bye anymore, Ted. The
Yeah, I
12
think
seed
that's a
doesn't get a
good
bye
thing.
anymore.
That makes some sense.
It makes all the sense in the world. Top 4 seeds get byes. I'm fine with it now. The top 5 ranked, highest ranked conference champions still get automatic spots in the playoff. I love that. So winning a conference championship in college football still is a very big deal. If you win your conference championship, you're in, baby. That's a huge deal. But top 4 teams getting a bye. We're only going to have this for 1 year. It's going to expand, but it is nice to know that there's still some common sense in the sport. That was the easiest adjustment ever to make, and they did the right thing. This is the proper adjustment.
It's kind of funny that, whenever the first announcement came, it was like, oh, well, like you could see what they were doing with it. But before we ever played a game in the playoff, it was like, this is stupid and we should never do this again.
Well, this is my thing. The old way, it was entirely too difficult to explain to a casual sports fan. Wait, you mean the 9 seed and the 12 seed got byes? Explain that to me.
Right.
Well, the top 5 ranked highest conference champions get in and the top 4 get byes, but they're ranked 12. Why do they get a bye? Well, because that's the rule. Like, it was so stupid.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
It was good. Now, ultimately, I think everyone would agree we found the right champion. So, in the grand scheme of things, does it matter? Well, maybe not, but matchup wise, I think this is going to give you better matchups throughout.
I completely agree. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to argue that Ohio State was the best team in college football last year. But Oregon shouldn't have had to play them when they did.
Nope. That's right.
The 1 seed should get rewarded. Not you shouldn't have Ohio State staring you in the face the first time you step on the field in the playoff. And when you look at it like the old way, the byes were Oregon, Georgia, Boise, and Arizona State. And our first round games were Clemson, Texas, Tennessee, Ohio State, SMU, Penn State, and Indiana, Notre Dame. With the new one, if you look at last year's playoff, it would have been Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, and Texas. Those would have been the byes. The first round games would have been Clemson at Notre Dame, Boise at Indiana, Arizona State at Ohio State, and SMU at Tennessee. I think we would have gotten a couple of really good first round games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Oregon would have gotten a much easier first game in the playoff, which is what should happen if you're the 1 seed.
Probably would have been a great game between Boise State and Indiana, right?
Right.
And would have been entertaining, and you get to see who Oregon's going to play, and you feel like Oregon would have handled either one of those teams, and it kind of sets up that semifinal a lot better.
Instead of, remember, the 1 seed, I think we all can agree, the 1 seed should be rewarded for being the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
They had to play the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee. And it's not going to make Oregon fans feel any better about it. They can't go back and change the past, but with the new seeding, they would have played the winner of Boise, Indiana. That's a big difference, man.
Big difference.
Big difference. So I think common sense has prevailed, and we should get some better first round games. And I was thinking about, like, if you're a Boise State fan, I'd rather host a first round game than get the bye if I'm a Boise State fan.
Well,
it's highly unlikely that you are going to win a national championship if you're Boise State. I
Yep,
I
that
actually
makes
think
sense.
it's nearly impossible. But if you have an undefeated run, you may be the eighth seed and hosting a game. That's more
Host,
fun than getting the bye if I'm a Boise State fan.
I agree. And I also hate the buy. Not a fan of it at
It's going to
all.
go away when it expands.
But I'm totally with you. And buys were not a good thing to have last year. We'll see like if that's a trend that continues with this year. I know it'll be a little bit different because your top four teams are going to be sitting there, but yeah, this is a much better way to do it. And like the argument may be that, you know, maybe it changes some of the appeal of the conference championship game, but I really don't think so.
Notre Dame may be the biggest winner in this whole thing. Remember the old version that lasted 1 year? One of the big conversation topics was, hey, Notre Dame will never get a bye
Right.
because they're not in a conference. The buys go to the top four ranked conference champions. They're never getting a bye. This is the price of them doing business and staying independent. Well, that's gone. Top four
Notre
seeds. If
Dame's
Notre
on a roll right now, aren't they?
They
They're on a
are, man. It's
roll.
everything's coming up Irish right now.
That's right. Yeah, I
So
like this. The one thing that I, you end up kind of with the human element of, you know, the 1, 2, and 3 seed probably pretty good, but the difference between a 4 and 5 seed that can be difficult, and the difference between getting a bye and not is going to come up to a committee, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, maybe the way it unfolds is it will be crystal clear and there'll be no arguments there, but I can see a situation arising to where you got two teams in that 4 and 5 spot that have a very good case to be the 4 seed and get the bye, and how be interesting to see how that plays out.
I'm sure it won't be controversial at all. Not at all. And we're only getting 1 year of it. I do wonder, like, if this version of the 12-team playoff, if we end up getting three really good first round games and then we have some suspenseful second round games that like it plays out and it's just awesome. I wonder if they go, hey, this system's pretty good now that we fixed the seating issue. But they're going to expand it to 16. We know they are. More money, more games.
Please, please, can we host a playoff game this year? Please.
Oh,
That's all. That's all I want. I want to host a playoff game in Norman, Oklahoma. That's To me, that will be the greatest thing ever. I It will happen at some point in time. I just hope it's this year. Be incredible.
that means the Sooners have weathered the storm that is that schedule.
Like I think it is.
9-3 hosting a playoff game.
I think it's within reason. I think it's within reason.
Yeah.
Um, because what you got to be, what's the lowest seed? The 8 that hosts. So, I mean, I think it's
Do you have to
within.
be 10-2 to be the 8th seed?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I
I
really
think
don't.
there's a world where OU goes 9-3 and they're ranked 8th in the country at the end of the season.
I think
Got to finish the year strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, it's going to be, without putting together just the most special season in history. A bye seems like a bridge too far at the moment, but getting into the playoff first and foremost, but being able to host, like even going on the road though, like to go on the road to another, as long as it's not Boise State, but even going on the road to play a playoff game at a home site is epic.
I hope we get to experience that, bud,
I know.
this season. Come on, boys. You
Let's
can do
go.
it. All right, my loser of the weekend. Let's talk a little hockey. The Carolina Hurricanes are cooked.
Mm.
I I guess I was just a fan of watching blowouts on Saturday. I mean, the Florida Panthers 6-2. Dude, it was 1-1 going into the third period. And I'm sitting there going, hey, at least I'm going to get an entertaining hockey game. Let's do this. And the floodgates opened in the third period. It was almost, I don't even know how. I don't watch a ton of hockey. I only watch the playoffs. It was kind of crazy to just watch them score, watch the Panthers score goal after goal after goal. It was like 5 goals in like 10 minutes off the clock. It was crazy to watch. I was just like, this doesn't feel normal. Does this happen a lot in hockey?
Yeah, what's the version of a flash flood for a panther? What a mauling?
That was a mauling.
What's it called whenever a panther grabs the prey by the throat and then drags him up into the tree? Whatever that's called, that's what that was.
It was 5 goals in like 10 minutes of game time. It was insane to watch.
I bet that's kind of the perfect way for a game to unfold. When you're watching it, it's like it's close all the way throughout, and then a blowout at the end for your team where you're just like the last 10 minutes are frenzy.
I I was looking at that crowd going, that'd be pretty fun to be there.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to Sunrise, Florida, where I believe that's where the Panthers play. Everyone knows Sunrise, Florida is just a hot spot for hockey. Everyone knows that.
Interesting. I don't think I've even heard of Sunrise, Florida.
Well, they're awesome. And they're going to go play for a Stanley Cup. They're up 3-0 in the series, and this thing is over. Over. It credit to the Hurricanes. Getting to the conference finals it's a big accomplishment. It is. But they have been demolished in this series. 5-2 and 5-0 on their home ice in game 1 and game 2. And then got beat 6-2 in game 3 on the road. So
We got
some quick math tells me that's 16-4.
Dallas and Edmonton. Is that tonight?
It is.
Today?
They're I believe that's at
Series.
2 p.m.
Yep.
Some
That one's tied
daytime
1-1.
hockey, baby.
That's gonna be a good series.
I'm interested if you feel the same way. It feels weird to me to watch hockey during the day. Like when it's light outside. I don't know why. Like I have no problem watching daytime NBA playoff basketball. It doesn't feel weird to me. For some reason, daytime playoff hockey feels strange. And I don't know. I need your help
Well, I think
discovering why that feels weird to me.
when it's daytime, you can see that it's 90 degrees outside. And at nighttime, you can at least put yourself in a place where hockey's supposed to be played when it's cold. I think maybe I don't know.
I think you're right. I think it has something to do with my brain associating
They're on
sunlight
ice.
with heat, and you're like, oh, they're on ice. They can't be
That
playing
doesn't
it.
work.
This doesn't match up. I don't know. It's weird. Every time I turn it on, I'm like, this feels
I can't
weird.
do
I
it.
don't know
I
why.
can't do it. Yep, I'm with you.
Maybe someone can explain it. So I'm sure we have like a psychiatrist or two that listen to the show.
I guarantee you Canadians have studied it before.
I'll give it a Google after. How about that? Birthday shout outs. Happy 9th birthday to Taylor Faulkner.
Happy 18th birthday to Cade Gosson.
Happy 27th birthday to Tyler Weatherman Radabaugh.
Happy birthday, Weatherman.
I think I nailed that.
Yeah.
Radebaugh. Radabaugh.
Perfect.
On that note, episode 530 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Wednesday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, visit our website, okbreakdown.com. We've got all of our stuff in one spot over there. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Great rest of your week. That's not right. Great start to your week. Hopefully, hey, have a safe Memorial Day, people. Make good decisions.
Holiday.
Rest of your holiday. There you go. There you go. See, this is why you're the key to this, this whole thing.
Appreciate that.
Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.